All right, guys, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to make a very cheap and easy to build water and feeder for us. It's going to be for our egg laying hens. The pros to building it this way are that it's, like I said, very cheap. It lasts quite a while. You have at least 5 gallons of food. If you make multiple, obviously that number would greatly increase. And it's very easy to replace if something were to break. And there are a lot of these on the market that you can buy on Amazon or Tractor Supply. And this one is going to be the cheapest, and it's also going to be probably the easiest if you were to build anything on your own. So it's great for people that are just getting into having egg layers. All right, so what you're going to need to build these, if you're doing a water and a feeder, you're going to need 2 5-gallon buckets. They do not have to be from Lowe's. They can be from Home Depot or anywhere else. You're going to need at least 1 of these, but usually they're sold in a pack of 10 or 5s. Here's the water itself. It'll go in from right here, and when the chickens go down like this, it'll stop the water flow. Once it goes up like this, it'll be light enough where the water will come back in until it weighs it down. So that's how that works. There are also the wing nuts, and that is to tighten this onto the bucket, which I'll show you later. And it also even comes with a drill bit. So if you buy one of these on Amazon, for example, it comes with everything you need besides the bucket. So that takes care of the waterers, and now the feeders. So the feeders are much bigger. They come with this, an O-ring rubber seal, a cap, so you can stop this feeder from producing feed if you want to just limit it to 1 or have the choice. It's yours. And it comes with a 3 and 5/32 hole saw with a drill bit attachment. I'm almost certain that these come with it. If they don't, then that's what the size you need. You can get away with 3 1/4. Now, for tools, a drill, obviously the hole saw with a drill bit attachment, a drill bit, a tape measure, if you want them all to be at the same height on the bucket, and a Sharpie, and a backup Sharpie for when this one doesn't work, because you guys know how Sharpies are. There you go. So pretty simple, even on the materials list. So let's get into it. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm starting with the waters, and I'm trying to see exactly where I want them on this. Now, what I'm thinking is when you hold the bucket like this, the handle goes right down the center here. Now, if I were to put a waterer right here, and right here, and right here, what happens is when I'm holding it, it would be out in front of me, and this one might hit my leg if I'm twisting my arm or something like that. Versus if I put them right where the handle is, one right here and one on the other side, now I can move my entire leg as I'm carrying them and I won't hit a feeder. Plus, without a feeder being on this side, if I wanted to, I could put this bucket right up against a wall and you still have access to 3 feeders or waterers. So I think that's what we're going to do for this one. So step 1, I got my Sharpie, I got my tape measure, and I'm going to measure up from right below this handle going straight down. I'm going to say around 2.5 inches up. And the reason why I came up with 2.5 inches is I took this and I placed it on here and I just eyeballed it. And my thought process is if it's too high, you have a lot of water that will never be drinking because the water level has to be above for the waterer to be filled up. So if the water, for example, is right here and the water level is right here, the bucket is still 1/4 full, but this is empty. There's no water going into it. Now, if I put it too low, what happens is the chickens can walk in it, step in it, just make it really nasty, right? So we want to avoid that. So we want to put it high enough where they don't do that, but not so high where you have a lot of water that's not being drinking, and you end up having to refill this more often. 2.5 inches. 2.5 inches. Right there is good. Right, there's my mark. And I'm just going to eyeball it here and go right about there. So that's where we're going to drill. Now I'm going to do the exact same thing to the other side. Step 2, you're going to take your drill, and you're going to find your drill bit because you are a messy worker. So if for whatever reason your waterers don't come with a drill bit, the size that you want to use is a 3/8 drill bit. You might be able to get away with a 1/4, but you might have leaks if you do that. The way to tell and figure out what size you need is you take this, and you take whatever size drill bit you have, and you put it behind the threads, and you see how far out it sticks on the sides. Now, if your drill bit is way bigger than the threads, then you're too big. If you can't see the drill bit at all, then you're too small. If you can see the drill bit through the threads and it's the exact same width, that's the right size. Now, rather than doing this on the table, I'm just going to do it on the ground. That way I'm not slipping and sliding because we're drilling into a rounded surface, which is one of the more difficult surfaces to drill into. The next step here is to remove all these burrs. Now you can use a few things for that. A file, sandpaper, or a knife or a sharp edge. And after we do that, we're also going to want to rinse out this bucket. Before we use this at all, we're going to want to rinse it out. We don't want any plastic shavings in there for them to eat or drink. So this is roughly what it'll look like when it's more cleaned up. All right, let's go rinse it out. All right, next up is we're going to actually slap in these waterers. All right, now it's as easy as this. Take this piece and just push it right in. Now, with the little attachments that this kit will come with, you have these wing nuts. Now you take this wing nut and from inside, you slap them right on those threads, holding the other side. Flat surface. Make sure that it's roughly plumb or level. And now hold that outside while you tighten it the rest of the way. And now we're just going to repeat that exact same process with the other two. All right, and there we go. It's all done. And this is what it'll look like as you're carrying it. Your leg, you can swing right by. It'll be fine. You won't knock anything over. Now, that took me 7 minutes maybe, and we were recording. I was taking it slow. For you guys, it'll probably take less than 5 minutes to do that. I'm talking everything from start to finish. Now, from this, the water will last, I'd say, over a week, depending on how many chickens you have. So for 5 chickens, it will last well over a week. For 10 chickens or more, I'm not exactly sure, probably a little less than that. But if you just have a small flock, this is perfect. You can leave it for the week, and it's really easy to check as well. You just look over, and if these cups are empty, the water is empty. One final thing I want to say about these waterers is that they come with replacement pieces. So if you were to lose one of these rubber gaskets or a wing nut, you can replace it because they come with extra ones. All right, now moving on to the feeders. So this is going to be a very similar process. The first thing we're going to do is measure, then we're going to cut, and then we're going to install, and then we're going to fill. Now I'm lining this up just like I was with the water, and I'm just roughly eyeballing it, and I'm going to measure to the center of this because yes, we're drilling with a hole saw, but we're ultimately drilling with a drill bit. So we're going to try and find the exact center of where we're drilling. Same method as before, using the edge of the handle, the other edge, and then the center. And now we're going to set up our hole saw. So if you guys have never done this before, there are threads on the drill bit that you will put right into the hole saw. Just like that. Now, we're going to put this drill bit right into here, just like we did with the other one. I'm going to tighten it up, and then if you want, you can take the battery out of it to make yourself feel a little bit more comfortable. We're going to tighten this on, the hole saw. Now it's tight. All right, same deal on the ground. So this one's a little harder to line up because you can't necessarily see the drill bit. And so what I do is I come in at an angle, I set the drill bit down, and then with pressure, I lift everything else up. So now we're right on that, and you can start drilling. And that is what a successful drill looks like. Let's do it 2 more times. All right, let's get rid of the burrs, or the little plastic pieces that came up while we were cutting. We're good. All right, now that we have the holes and we have rinsed it all out so there's no burrs in there, what we're going to do is we're going to slap the actual feeder part in there, and it's actually really straightforward. So you take this piece right here and you put the little rubber gasket right there on that edge. And what you do is, you would think that you would want to put it like this, so it's like a nice little cup for them, just like the water. Wrongo. What you do is you slap it in like that with the overhang on the top right here. And then you take the little nut that comes with it, and on the inside, you slap it over, and then you just hand tighten it down. Now there's going to be a little bit of a gap in here, but that's what the rubber washer or O-ring is for. Now what'll happen is the food will fill in the bottom of the bucket, and it'll be available for them to stick their little heads in there and peck at it down there. All right, let's rinse and repeat. All right, and now we're going to fill this up with some food. All right, so as you can see, that was super easy to make. I'm really happy with it. I know that they're really happy with it. It didn't even take us that long. So there you have it. It's super easy to do. All you need is a drill pretty much, and the stuff that it comes with and the packages, and you can have it done in less than 20 minutes, all of it. So if you like this video, if you found it informative, useful, helpful, entertaining, whatever, go ahead and throw us a thumbs up. And if you have any questions or anything, throw them in the comment section. We do read them, we do respond. And also, if you want to see any other videos, we probably have a ton of them at this point, go and check out our channel and subscribe. Turn on the bell so you can get some notifications when we drop some more videos. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Adios!